Hi, I'm Sophie and today I'm going to talk about Lotus Pose or Padmasana, that traditional yoga pose that you see in all the photographs in magazines. It's a really lovely pose for opening up the hips, but it is also quite challenging, so I would like you to be careful as we go through this and follow the steps and really be honest with yourself as to where you want to stop, rather than forcing yourself into the pose, which could cause injury. So before attempting this pose, again you want to have done at least 10 sun salutation A and preferably 10 sun salutation B, so that you're really nice and warm, and also some hip opening poses beforehand. So for our Lotus Pose, we already want to have opened up the hips, but we're just going to do a little bit more just to really get them nice and open before we attempt to come in. So the first exercise that we're going to do is going to take the legs out in front of us, and then we're going to bend our left knee and take the left leg into the crook of the right elbow and the left elbow. Now your leg might be further down here, it might not actually come all the way into the elbow. Here is also absolutely fine, it doesn't really matter wherever it is. What you're trying to aim for is bringing the right foot in towards the body and causing that external rotation through the left thigh. So once you're here, you're going to sit up nice and tall, try not to curl up through the back, really lift up through the chest, and we're just going to rock the left leg a little bit. Now you should feel a nice stretch down the outside of the right hip. I most definitely do. If you don't, then you want to take your calf further towards your chest and sit up even more. Make sure that your right foot is engaged, and then just keep rocking here, backwards and forwards, hopefully feeling some release through that left hip. And then releasing the left leg. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. So bending your right knee, taking the right foot into the crook of the left elbow and the right elbow, and then rocking backwards and forwards. Again, maybe a little bit further down, maybe drawing that leg right up. Breathing here. A few more breaths, just releasing the outside of that right hip. Lovely. And then from there, releasing back down. So we're going to first of all come into half lotus, and then we're going to attempt the full lotus from there. As I said, there will be lots of steps along the way, so please just listen carefully, listen to your body carefully more importantly, and stop wherever is appropriate for you today. So first of all, we're going to bend the left knee, and we're going to bend the left knee fully, rather than, you often see people kind of doing this sort of thing to get into Lotus Pose, but the knee is most stable when the leg is either completely straight or when the knee is completely bent. So to avoid any kind of stress on the knee, we want the knee to be completely bent, and then we're going to drop the leg out to the side and take the outside edge of the left foot and try to pop it up here on the right hip crease. Again, don't worry if it doesn't come all the way up, anywhere on the thigh is absolutely fine. Then you're going to drop the left knee down towards the ground. Again, for it to come all the way down, the hips need to be quite open, so you may find the knee is up here. If this is the case, do grab your cushion or your yoga blocks again, just pop it underneath the knee so the knee is supported and you're not hanging out here in the knee joint. From there, you're going to take your hands behind you, you're going to rock back and just cross the right leg underneath you. So this is half lotus or half Padmasana. This is still a very challenging pose for a lot of people. You may feel some pressure through the left ankle. This is because a lot of people these days do tend to have very tight ankles, particularly if you wear high heeled shoes a lot of the time. It's nothing to worry about if it's a slight ache. If you feel any sharp pain, of course, come straight out of it. So we can just breathe here, if this is challenging enough. To take it to the next level, you can take your hands down onto the mat in front of you. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, slowly start to walk the hands forwards, maybe coming down to the elbows, maybe the forehead comes down. You're going to breathe there for 5 to 10 breaths, hopefully feeling a nice stretch through the outside of both hips. When you've done your 5 to 10, inhaling, come all the way back up. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So uncross the left leg, cross the right leg, just give the legs a little shake, ankles a little circle. And so the same thing on the right side, bending the right knee this time, make sure it's fully bent, then drop it out to the side, taking the outside edge of the right foot onto the top of the left thigh. And again, maybe the knee is going to come down, maybe it's going to be up. Then we're going to take the hands behind, rock back, and come into our half lotus on this side. So you may have one side that's slightly more open than the other. For me, the other side was most definitely easier, but don't worry about that, it's totally normal. And again, maybe staying here, maybe inhaling, exhaling, coming down to deepen your stretch a little bit further and breathing for 5 to 10 breaths. And then when you've done your 5 to 10, slowly coming all the way back up. And again, releasing yourself. Take the legs back out in front. Give the legs a little shake. Ankles a few circles. Now to come into the full Padmasana, the full lotus position. There's a really good way when we get into it, or halfway into it, of telling whether it's safe or not for you to be able to come into the full position. So please watch carefully and make sure that you are safe to come into this position. Otherwise you can cause some kind of knee injury. Okay? So you can take whichever leg you prefer first. For me that's going to be the left leg, so I'm going to demonstrate with the left leg first. So I'm going to bend my left knee, drop it out to the side, placing the outside of the left foot onto the top of my right thigh. Okay, so the way you can tell whether you're safe to come into the full lotus position is if this knee and calf touches the ground. If it is up, it is not safe for you to come into the position. And what is going to happen is the knee is going to rotate. The knee is not meant to have any rotation through it. Well, it has about 20%. We don't want it to take the rotation. We want the entire rotation to come from the hip. So if this is the case, today, just stay with your half lotus until the hips open up enough for you to come into the full lotus. If you're working further with it today, then you're going to take the right leg in front of you, take hold of your right leg and gently slide the right foot on top of the left. And come here into your full lotus, both feet on top of the thighs, and take your hands and just join index finger and thumb. And you can sit here, again 5 to 10 breaths, perhaps closing the eyes. Or you can also take the same position we did before, walking the hands forwards. And when then you've done your 5 to 10 breaths, very gently work your way back out, taking both legs out in front of you. Again, give the ankles a little circle, the legs a little shake. So that was Lotus Pose. I hope that you enjoyed it or are enjoying working towards it. If you do have any questions, you can ask below, or if you would like to subscribe, you can do so above. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Namaste.